Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Getting ready now for what in many ways is one of the... Yeah? You had a question? Oh. We're getting ready for the bar and bat mitzvah of the whole Jewish people, really. When we all receive the Torah. Shavuos. Tomorrow night is the holiday of Shavuos. Sunday and Monday. One of the most important holidays that we have, and one of the least known. This is the time when we became a nation. It says in the Torah, in Exodus 19, Hatom atem tiyeseh la'am. This is the day when you became a nation. Not by virtue of a flag, an army, not the language, not borders, not a piece of land. Why not a piece of land? They were in the desert, in the Sinai, belongs to nobody. Why? To show that the Torah, anybody could come and get it. Why not a language? Why isn't it in Hebrew? Our sages say that when God gave the Torah, He didn't only just give it in Hebrew, He gave it in every language, for anybody who wanted it. It's what made us a nation is this message of the Torah. This is what it's all about. The message of the of Shavuos. When we're given the Torah, and we're afforded the opportunity to become God's nation. What it says in the Torah, "Vatem tiyun li mamlechus kahanim v'goy kodesh," that God says, "You will be to me a kingdom of priests, a holy nation." The job of the Jewish people is to be priests, to be an example for the whole world, to spread the message of ethical monotheism, the idea that there's one God and that He expects something from us. He gives us a standard to live by, even if we don't live up to it, but He gives us that standard so we have something to strive for, so we don't just feel He wants to give us everything. But we can appreciate it even more, the Kabbalists say, by virtue of the effort and the difficulty that we go through to receive it. That's the tremendous gift. And that we are to be a witness nation for the whole world to know that there's one God. It doesn't mean we're going knocking on doors. Earlier this week I was sitting in my house. I went to shul in the morning, but some people... I'm included among them that have a custom not only to put on tefillin once, but to put on the tefillin twice, the second pair. So I didn't put on the second pair at shul, which I usually do. I put it on at home. I just happened to, and I get a knock on the door, a missionary from the Jay's Witnesses. And I'm there with the tefillin, I greet him, I'll come in, he's like, oh, I scared him away. He saw the tefillin, that's what it says in the Torah. All the nations of the world will see the name of God called upon you and be in awe. That's the awe of the tefillin. It says, Elu tefillin shel barosh, the sages say. So, but it's by living a living example. That's our purpose. We don't have to go door to door. If we live our lives in a way, the purpose of all this we do is to keep alive that message of what happened at Sinai. It's an incredible event. You know, various medieval rabbis point out, Maimonides and Rabbi Judah Halevi and others, point out how this is a unique event in all the history of all religions in the world. And the Torah itself says in Deuteronomy 4, verse 32, like that God, all other religions, you know, they ask questions. They said, don't ask questions, it's a mystery, just accept in blind faith. Don't ask questions. Moses tells us in Deuteronomy 4:32, I dare you, Sha'alna, please ask. He doesn't say don't ask, please ask. Sha'alna liyam rishon, ask about history, learn the history of the world. Not just the Mel Brooks movie, you can learn part 2 also. Learn what happened, all the different religions and everything. Did anything like this ever happen or even be heard of? The whole nation should hear God. It's a unique event in all the history of even folklore, everything. No one else ever made such a claim. that the whole nation heard God. And that's what we're going to read on Shavuos, of how everyone heard God. Moses wasn't by himself getting the tablets and I have these 10 commandments. No, it's not how it was. The whole nation heard God. They all heard the 10 commandments. Everyone heard. That's what the Torah says. And that's a story you can't make up. If someone would say that a different type of story, they were in the middle of a field and a flying saucer came down. And I have this message for you, whatever it is, and then someone's coming into the city, and I was out in the woods, in the field, somewhere by myself, an alien told me this, you're going to listen to him? No. But if you said you heard what happened in the middle of the Super Bowl, that a flying saucer came down and had this big message, or whatever it was, now, if it happened, you would have known about it, you would have heard about it. If it didn't happen, you couldn't get away with making up a story like that. So the fact that the Jewish people believed for all generations, for the past 3,300 years, that the anniversary is coming up tomorrow night, Sunday, that we're receiving the Torah, it's an event that's unique in all the annals of history. The whole nation should hear God and live. Nobody else ever even made a claim like that. Or Nishma Kamohu. Moses dares us. Did anyone else even make up a story like that? No one could get away with making up a story like that because no one would believe it. Yet we always believed it, and the rest of the world believes it. It's only recently, the past 150 years, that anyone would even think to question such an incredible event. And the fact of the matter is, all right, you want to say it's not a proof, but it's, if you believe there was a person that was George Washington, who was the President of the United States a little over 200 years ago, there were more people at Mount Sinai who heard God speak than whoever met George Washington in his life. That's a fact. So you can't get it. So if you believe, you have proof there was a George Washington? No, I was in Newburgh and I saw a bed that they said he slept in and a desk they said he wrote in, but they told me that. Maybe I'm just believing in blind faith. All these people said it. There's more blind faith in believing that about George Washington that we know and accepted as history than what happened at Mount Sinai. And that's an incredible thing. Now, why would someone not want to accept that? Because it's a big responsibility. It's a big burden, it would seem. I got an email from the Kalavar Rebbe, who's very sick right now. And he went out of his way to type out an email, and he sent it to me in Hebrew. We translated it into English, me with a few other guys together, and they sent it out on his behalf. And he said, what's Shavuos all about? What is this big Yom Tiv? People think, we went out of Egypt to be free. The thing is, it's the freedom that we have, where our sages say, there's no true freedom except the freedom that we get in the Torah. It says that the words of God were engraved on the tablets of the 10 Commandments. Our sages say, don't read it the word charus, which means engraved, but cherus, which means freedom. That the freedom comes through the Torah. True freedom in the world comes through the Torah. That's why we left Egypt, to serve God on that mountain and to bring that message to the whole world for the whole rest of history, that there is one God and He wants us to live good lives. And He loves us and He cares about us. People think, this is a big burden. It's too hard. What do we need it for? We keep, what did they say before they left Egypt? God said, take a lamb and slaughter it in front of the Egyptians. Now that seems like an innocuous thing, except when you realize that the Egyptians worshipped lambs. So you're taking their God and killing it right in front of them. That's what Passover was about. And yet no one could hurt them. Now common sense would say, why would you do such a crazy thing? Well, the thing is, because God, who made everything, who made the whole world, He's the one who told us that. And that's why the 10 Commandments begin with, I'm the Lord your God who took you out of the land of Egypt from the house of slaves. Why didn't it say, I'm God who made the heaven and the earth, your creator? Well, one answer is that they saw God take them out of Egypt. They didn't see Him create. The creation we know because He told us in front of everybody that He's the Creator. But that He took us out of Egypt, that's even more. He took us out from this mindset of slavery. It's not just a slavery of physical slavery, but a mental slavery. That they thought, the Egyptians said, let's outsmart God. Let's enslave the Hebrews. Let's outsmart God. And the message is, you can't outsmart God. He has a plan for you that He wants you to be successful, but He knows what's right. A little kid could say, I want to eat candy all day. It tastes so sweet. But then they could get a bellyache, and it's very unhealthy. Their teeth will rot and everything. What we think is sweet and good, God is our Father in heaven. He knows what's best. He knows what's healthiest, not only for our souls, but for our bodies and for everything. We think, it's too hard to keep Shabbos. I have to work. I have to make a living. No. Just like God didn't let the Egyptians hurt us, He's in charge. Don't worry. You're going to get blessings from that. When they left Egypt, they got rich. The Egyptians gave them all the things, all the money that they earned working those hundreds of years in Egypt. They finally got paid and they left as God promised Abraham with tremendous wealth and tremendous blessings and physical wealth, material wealth. So you think you're going to keep you're going to go and work on Shabbos. It's going to make your life easier. You don't know. There could be other problems that could be caused by that. You think, why do I have to keep kosher? I want to enjoy this food. Why is God keeping enjoyment from me? Don't worry. There's much greater enjoyment. And not only that, but the Talmud says anything that's not kosher, there's something kosher that tastes just the same. It even says there's a type of fish that tastes just like ham. That's what it says in the Talmud. Such a thing. If you want it, God isn't keeping anything from you. There's always a right way and a wrong way to do everything. You're worried, you're wasting time learning Torah, going to shul, davening. It's not a waste of time. The blessings that God has in store for you. Now you're here in shul, hearing preaching about the Torah, and you're going to daven, and we just davened now, and we're going to daven again. That's bringing down blessings in your life you can't imagine. So we think that it's holding us back. It's just the opposite. Because God loves us and He cares about us. He has everything in store for us, and He told us the way to do it. It's not, people think, if I don't do this, God's going to punish me and send me to hell. That's not what it's about. What it is that you got instructions how to drive a car. But what if I don't want to follow these instructions? I'm going to press the brake when I'm supposed to press the gas. I'm going to press the gas when I'm supposed to press the brake. It's not God punishing you and sending you to hell. You're not using the operating manual. You're doing the opposite thing, the wrong thing. You're making your own problems. But if you just do things the right way, everything's perfect. Everything is good. And so God gave us a message and a way to live. And He gave us a standard to live up to, even if we don't always live up to it. But when we recognize that we have that, and we recognize we try, and even if we fail, God still loves us, and He still is rooting for us, and He believes in us. And just like He was able to do miracles, take us out of Egypt, give us a Torah, it's not just a one-time thing. We read, what do we read before we read the Torah? What are the blessings that you say, right? Yeah, and then what? And then, Baruch Atah, bless you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who chose us from all nations and gave us His Torah. Bless you, O Lord, Notein Torah. What does that mean, Notein Torah?
Something Torah.
Yeah, Notein means the giver, who gives the Torah. It doesn't mean who gave us the Torah. It's not that He gave us the Torah 3,300 years ago. He's giving us the Torah now. Every day, it says in the Talmud, a voice is coming from Mount Sinai to teach us that He's giving us the Torah right now. Every day it's brand new. We have a new opportunity. It doesn't matter what you did before. You can always turn your life around. And that's also that message. Rav Wolbe passed away a few years ago. That's what he said. We're celebrating on Shavuos. We'll put aside what Rav Wolbe said. Shavuos is such a wonderful yontif, such a wonderful holiday. Our old Babbas used to say that Shavuos is the best holiday. Why? Because on Passover, you could eat wherever you want, but you can't eat whatever you want, because you can't eat chametz. Sukkahs, you could eat whatever you want, it's kosher, but you can't eat wherever you want, you have to eat in the sukkah. Shavuos, you can eat whatever you want, wherever you want. You even want to eat milchiks, you want to enjoy something dairy, some nice blintzes, and cheese kraplach, and cheese danishes, and ice cream, and good, delicious things. That's a Shavuos. It's a sweet, it's a holiday when we enjoy all these milchik delights. It's such a wonderful holiday, and it's so easy to keep, and it's so much fun. It's really one of the most important holidays that we have, because that's where all other holidays come from Mount Sinai. That's what all being Jewish is all about. Shavuos is such a big holiday. Some people stay up all night, all kinds of things. But we read the Ten Commandments. We read the Akdamus, which is an incredible poem that talks about all what's happened at Mount Sinai and tremendous, beautiful poetry. You know, if you like Godzilla movies or King Kong or something, even something for those monster fans, because it talks about the Leviathan and the behemoth, the big fish and the big ox, and they're fighting and they kill each other, and somehow, whilst they're killing each other, they slaughter each other in a kosher way, and that's what we have to eat when the Messiah comes. Incredible, beautiful things that our rabbis taught. And they're inspiring and tug at our hearts. But more than that, that revelation at Sinai, that's what it's all about. That's the most important event in all of history. And then we go on, and we got those 10 commandments, but they were broken. What are we celebrating then? You know, on Yom Kippur is when we got the second set of 10 commandments. That's what we should celebrate. No, we're celebrating even those commandments that got broken, even those tablets that got broken, because they're also holy. They were also the broken pieces are also put in the ark. It doesn't matter if we're broken, the tablets, they're often shown to look like a heart. Right? On the top looks like the top of a heart, because even a broken heart is holy. Like those broken pieces of the 10 commandments also were put in the ark. They're also holy. Ruth, she came from Moab, which was a nation that it says, we read the book of Ruth also, it says in the Torah that Moabite cannot join the Jewish people. Even if they convert, they can't marry into the Jewish people. So how did it happen that Ruth came in? Because the rabbi said that the women could come, and they learned it from a way how Sarah conducted herself. A little thing that we do is a big thing, but even with what would seem like a tainted lineage, was the lineage that became King David, and in the end, the Messiah will come from there. So we can't tell ourselves, oh, what I did, and I'm no good. No, you can start today. You could say, like Ruth said, your God is my God, your people is my people. We can start from the beginning. You know, Ruth, she had her sister-in-law, Orpah, she didn't go with Naomi. And you know what our rabbis say? Ruth, from her great-grandson was King David. Who was Orpah's great-grandson? It was Goliath, who David slew. The enemy of holiness, the one who cursed God. And King David slew him. We could stand every day at a crossroads, and we have to take that opportunity to take the right path. But the point is, it doesn't matter where you came from. Those broken tablets, you can put it back together and make something beautiful and holy. You think, oh, where I come from, such a background, doesn't matter. You can become a royal family. It can be lifted up. That's what Rabbi Wolbe said. It's more than that. You know, I said that freedom comes on those 10 commandments. That freedom comes from the Torah. We don't have freedom without the Torah. You know, we take it for granted the way we live. But here in America, we have a day set aside, a Memorial Day, to remember the soldiers who gave their lives, that we can live a free life. And it's because of the sacrifice that they made that we're able to live a free life that we have, and we can live with freedom of religion and with the prosperity and everything that America gives us and the blessings. We take it, and this year, Memorial Day is Shavuos. and we say Yizkor, our memorial prayers on Memorial Day, it's not a coincidence. There's a strong depth behind that. Behind the Memorial Day, that Yizkor of Memorial Day, that what we say, that our sages said, I said before, that when we got the Torah, that was freedom that was on those tablets. It wasn't engraved on the tablets, it was freedom on the tablets. The only one who's free is the one who lives a Torah life. Why? We take it for granted, the freedoms that we have. Why? Because the freedoms that America gives us are those natural freedoms. America is not what gives us. The founders of this country said, we're not giving the freedoms. God gave this. That every human was imbued by their Creator with inalienable rights. Where did they get that idea from? Where did they come up with some sort of idea? From the Torah that God gave us on Shavuos. From that Torah that human beings have rights, that we're not just, you can't just kill and steal and do whatever you want. There's 10 commandments. There's inalienable human rights. Where did they get it from? From our 10 commandments that God gave us. It's not just ours, it belongs to the whole world. And that message that started on Mount Sinai, Baruch Hashem, God guided us, guided the world to make such a wonderful country here in America, and we have to be so grateful and thankful to Adonai Shul Malachim, the one who gives, that to Almighty God who gives salvation and victory to this great land that we live in. And we have to mourn and remember that sacrifice that was made, so we could be that Mamlechus Kaihanim V'Goy Kodesh, so we could be that kingdom of priests, that holy nation, and stand shoulder to shoulder with all our brothers and sisters, even of other religions, who ultimately learned from our Torah. That message was spread out and was sanctified, and hopefully we're looking forward to that day when that great-great-grandson of that Moabite girl, that she was actually a Moabite princess, she left the kingdom of Moab. Her father was a king, and she left and joined our people and said, your people will be my people, your God will be my God. We're looking forward to when her great-great-grandson will come, and Messiah will come, and turn the whole world to recognize that only God, there's only one God, and there's nothing else but Him. And that message that we're looking forward to, when the wisdom and knowledge of God will cover the world like the oceans cover the sea, that day is coming closer and closer every moment, and that's what we're looking forward to. King David was born on Shavuos and died on Shavuos as well. It's the day when we remember King David's birthday also on Shavuos, and we commemorate all the things that he did, and he wrote the Psalms and all the things that we treasure so much from King David. Why? Because and the whole world appreciates King David. Why? Because King David was every man. He was that little shepherd boy. He was the youngest in his family, and he was picked on, and no one thought anything would be from him, and then he became a great king, and not only that, a great king, a great scholar, a great warrior, a great everything. And he started that kingdom, that lineage. And that all came from Ruth. And that all came even earlier from that message on Mount Sinai for the whole world. Whoever wants, it's come and get it. The Torah is here for you in the desert. You don't have to, it's not hard, it's not too far, it's not too difficult. And it's there to give you all those blessings, to be that conduit, to bring peace, which brings blessings, like we said last week. And that's what we're looking forward to. And so I wish everyone a good Shabbos and a good Yontiv. This Yontiv of Shavuos, let's be worthy to receive the Torah like brand new. Amen. Good Shabbos. God bless you, and God bless America and everyone in the whole world. Shabbos.
Wasn't it David and Goliath?
Yeah. That's why I said that.